Good evening to each and everyone. My name is Jelma Sanchez of BS 1-5. I am the next reporter of Rivera. And good evening, ma'am. Okay, now let us go back to the DLP template provided by the Department of Education. Okay, number 1 is objectives. According to AirAsia 1994, the lesson plan objectives first is describe a student behavior that should result from instruction. Okay, this will be able to say how the student following instruction to the activity given by the teacher. Okay, number 2, state the behavior that can be observed and can be assisted. Next is indicate the content on which the behavior will be performed. Okay, the lesson plan objectives are statements that describe the expected learning outcomes of the learners at the end of the lesson. The objectives specify what students need to learn and thereby guide learners in carrying out the lesson activities. They also direct the teacher in selecting appropriate learning resources and methods to do in teaching. The lesson objective should also be the basis for assessing student learning before, during, and after the lesson. Okay, the lesson plan objectives, it helps to the teacher on how they are going to assess to the student in order to learn about the lesson topic they are discussing. Next is lesson plan objectives. It should be aligned with curriculum standard and must be stated in terms of what learners will be able to do at the end of the lesson. Yes, it should be aligned with our curriculum standards. If your topic is about technology, yes, of course, your activity should be part of the technology. That is the student able to do about the task, and it should be it should be assessed by the teacher. If students asking question, the teacher able to answer regarding the question about the task. Okay, there are 3 domains of learning objectives. Okay, the first one is knowledge. The fact or condition of knowing something with familiarity gained through experience or association. If the learners have a knowledge regarding the teacher discussion or topic discussion, the learners able to relate, able to recall about the topic of the teachers had, maybe during or yes, maybe in during and after the discussion. Okay, there is categories in knowledge. The first one is remembering. The learner can recall information and retrieve relevant knowledge from long-term memory. If the yes, as I said a while ago, that if the learners have a knowledge, they can remember about what the teachers discuss. And second is understanding. The learner can construct meaning from oral and written graphic messages. If the learners understand about the teacher's discussion, they can contrast and they can also relate to other things that are relevant on that matter. Next is skills, the ability and capacity acquired through deliberate, systematic, and sustained effort to smoothly and adaptively carry out complex activities, or the ability coming from one's knowledge, practice, attitude, etc. to do something. If the learners have skills about the activities given by the teacher, they can easily achieve, they can easily do about the task. There are categories of skills. Okay, the first one is applying. The learner can use information to undertake a procedure in familiar situation or in a new way. And also analyzing. The learner can distinguish between parts and determine how they relate to one another and the overall structure and purposes. Evaluating. The learner can make judgment and justify decisions. Creating. The learner can put elements together to form a functional whole, create a new product or point of view. And next is attitude. Growth in feelings or emotional areas. A settled way of thinking or feeling about something, typically one that is related in the person's behavior. Here's the categories of attitude. First is receiving phenomenon. S. Awareness, willingness to new selected attention. Responding to phenomenon, active participation on type part of the learners. Attends and reacts to particular phenomenon learning outcomes. Me, emphasize compliance and emphasize compliance in responding. Willingness to respond or satisfaction in responding. And the last one is valuing. Attaches to a particular object, phenomenon, or behavior. This ranges from simple acceptance to the more complex state of commitment. Valuing is based on the internalization. Okay, last is values. A learner's principles or standards of behavior. One's judgment of what is important in life go beyond learners' life on earth, include more than wealth and fame, and would affect the internal destiny of millions. Categories of this is first is organization. Organizes values into prioritized by constructing different values, revolving conflict between them, and creating unique value system. Internalizing values has a value system that controls their behavior. The behavior is pervasive, consistent, predictable, and most importantly, characteristic of the learner. Okay, we were done to the objectives. We'll proceed to the content standard. This pertains to the subject matter or specific content that the lesson aims to teach. And the last one is the learning resources. This is the list of resources that a teacher uses to deliver the lesson. Okay, most of us nowadays is using PowerPoint since we are online class students. And meta cards for picture. Another example is meta cards for pictures analysis. This is usually used by the elementary teacher. That's why the children easily understand about what they're going to teach to them. And Manila paper for posting the answers, Manila paper for the chart, it on activity. Elementary and in high school mostly ginagamit ni siya. I think that would be all, guys. And then thank you for listening, classmates. Thank you for listening, ma'am. And good night to each and everyone. Thank you.